Hey, Michael here for Beer Baseball Blog, the adventures of craft beer and baseball, and welcome to the Beer Baseball Blogcast. This is our pilot episode, and I have some great friends with me that I will introduce you to. And well, I've already made my first faux pas. I have my audio on, so I'm going to turn that down right there. Hey, we're winging it today, and we're going to see how this goes. I have some great friends with me today. I have Angelo Trinidad and Kevin Lyon. Let me share my screen so we can get into this. I'm getting used to Zoom and some of the things here. So let me do this right here. All right, guys, can you see my screen?
No. Oh, whoa, there you are. Yes, sir.
All right, you can see it right on. So as I mentioned, this is the Beer Baseball Blogcast pilot episode. We're going to see how this goes. It's some discussion about beer and baseball. And I'm going to introduce my friends here. Angelo and Kevin, I want you to say your name, how long you've been a baseball fan since, your team affiliation. We all have a pro wrestling connection. Your favorite style of beer and your favorite craft brewery. So is Angelo here? Did we lose Angelo?
I believe so.
Okay. So
I guess I'll go first then.
Yeah, I'll go to you, Kevin. Kevin Lyon.
Hey, whoa, hey, that's not me.
That we all have a pro wrestling association.
That is not me.
That is someone who looks familiar to you. But we all met each other through wrestling, through our involvement in Southern California. But our association never stopped there because we love beer and baseball. So Kevin, can you give me a little bit of a background on your alter ego here?
You want to go right into that? Because, first, what's more important is my baseball fan. I'm going to go through that first and I'll get to that. I've been an Angels fan since, I was dragged in early on. I was a lifer, whether I wanted to be or not. I started going to games with my family around 1980 or 1981, like 5 or 6. The point where my family and I had season tickets for 1983 and 84. And so obviously an Angel lifer. And so dug this Cole Calhoun hat out, although it's going to be sad him not being there anymore. And so wrestling, more or less, I met some friends who were starting to break in the mid to late 90s. I was a referee at first. And I got talked into wrestling, be politically correct, a little person, filling in last minute. And then from there, just started slowly getting into it. It was a bunch of guys who were local at the time, but a couple made it bigger. There was a guy, if you watch wrestling in the late 90s, Blitzkrieg was in WCW for a little while. Later, more influential locally would be, everyone knows he's my cousin, Super Dragon, and some guy named Michael Mondragon, the Disco Machine, Those are some of the guys I broke in with, and I didn't have that coat until after my wrestling days were over, unfortunately. But my wrestling persona was Taro, Taro, big letters for big man, based off a Japanese cartoon character called Ultraman Taro.
That's right. And you were the best chest in the West.
Yeah. Yes. I don't have a trophy for that, unfortunately, but yes, I did have that. Absolutely.
Awesome. And
going on to beer, I usually go for IPAs, hazy. Usually I tend to go for like the hazier stuff, but if it's IPA, I'm not gonna be that picky. I guess I'll still stay by my favorite craft brewery is one called Noble Ale Work in Anaheim, and I live in Anaheim, by the way. Get that background. I knew one of the original owners in like 2009, 2010, so I started going there pretty much right when they first opened around that time period. So it was the first craft brewery that I don't even know how much craft beer was even a word back around like 2010. It was still in its infant phase. So that place opened up a Pandora's box for me for beer, so to speak.
Awesome. And what is your title at the Beer Baseball Blog?
I am the senior research analyst and field correspondent.
All right. So thank you so much for joining me today. And now, Angelo, you're going to have an elaborate title too, but you're going to have to make it up on your own. You're going to have to live up to Kevin's billing there. But Angelo Trinidad, another great friend of mine, and he may not have heard this because he came back in. We all have an association through pro wrestling, but we have a love for baseball and craft beer. Can you go through your name? You've been a baseball fan since, your team affiliation, pro wrestling background, and a favorite style of beer and craft brewery.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, thanks for having me. I'm super excited about this project and this venture. But my name, as Mike said, is Angelo Trinidad. I've been a baseball fan since 1992. My earliest memory is I grew up in Stockton, California. So going to Stockton Ports games, summer of 1992, I remember was the first summer I was really exposed to baseball, in a mainstream manner. And it's funny, Mike, you'll appreciate this fun fact that who else was the catcher on the 1992 Stockton Ports? None other than former St. Louis Cardinals manager, Mike Matheny.
Nice.
I grew up, in Northern California. So I grew up a San Francisco Giants fan, but I transplanted here to Southern California in 2002. And since then, I've been a huge Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim fan, and regularly frequent games with the two of you, as well as my family. So you'll notice my LA shirt here, and my Stockton Ports hat here. So I'm repping both sides of the coin. But as far as a pro wrestling connection, I was a ring announcer in the California independent circuit from 2010 to 2019. So spent almost 10 years, riding alongside you guys, and most notably for Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. I also spent about 7 years as the head writer and head producer for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood and Arizona, and met both Kevin and Mike through Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, as I started out as a ring crew for Pro Wrestling Guerrilla before I started announcing. Favorite style of beer is definitely a light lager or blonde ale, something light, nothing too filling. I do like to typically enjoy beer with snacks or food. So the lighter, it makes it easier to kind of have capacity for both. Favorite craft brewery, Pizza Port is always, was my typical go-to. I spent about 2.5 years living in Oceanside. So that's how I was exposed to Pizza Port. But what I really love about Pizza Port is there's, I think, 6 or 7 different locations, and they're always going to have their own unique selection. So I really like going into a place and not necessarily having a favorite or a regular, but learning and trying new beers.
Right on. Well, thank you so much for joining me and actually just talking to Angelo.
I need to ask Angelo a question, Michael.
Yeah, go for it.
Because he said he was a Giants fan and he knows where I'm going with this. He had to move down here in 2002. So, yep. I mean, where were you then? Were you, what are we, I'm trying to ask is, Giants Angels 02, how was that for you? Because obviously you're a Giants fan at that point. I don't know.
Yeah, so in around 2001, 2002, I didn't follow baseball as closely, and I knew this question was going to be coming. So I'm glad you asked it.
I'm an Angels fan, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I was prepared for it. But really, what kind of spurred? So yeah, obviously, being from the Bay Area, I was heartbroken, with the loss, and moving down to Southern California, and this is kind of how I became an Angels fan, is the Giants didn't have a lot of broadcast exposure here in Southern California unless they were playing the Dodgers. And so I rarely was able to catch any Giants games, so I found it hard to keep up. But what I did see all the time, based on where I was living, was the Angels on TV all the time. Fox Sports West, on KTLA, wherever they were being broadcast. So I started getting exposed to the Angels and seeing them all the time. And through that, I started going to games because I was right up the street from Angel Stadium. So that's kind of how my affinity for the Angels began. I'll always have a soft spot for the Giants, and my friends back home always give me a hard time about my now current love for the Angels. But when you don't have the opportunity to be exposed to something, it kind of introduces you to new things, and that's kind of how my affinity for the Angels began. So, but yeah, I knew this question was coming. So
That's
Well,
okay.
what
That's
about being a
okay.
Dodgers fan for those people? I mean, they probably really would have been coming after you if you went with the Dodgers.
Yeah,
Well-
that's one thing I couldn't bring myself to do. But it's the two sides of the coin. Like, how could you like the team that defeated your team in in the World Series?
That's why I had to ask about it too.
Yeah.
And one more question now. Can you tell me, is there a pizza port in San Clemente, I believe?
There is a pizza port in San Clemente.
Okay, I was curious. I haven't had a chance to eat their food, but it's like every time I ever see their lineup, they have something new and interesting in the can available.
Yeah, my favorite so far was at the Ocean Beach location, and it's their Wave Pool Mexican Lager. They didn't currently have it on that menu when they were last open prior to all this going on, but it was super good, paired really well with the pizza. But yeah, they have the San Clemente location and the Brescia Ranch, Ocean Beach, so Carlsbad. So they have a ton of locations.
And I've had the wave pool in cans, so we'll have to make our way down there, because I love anything down San Diego area for craft beer. And I also want to make special mention, Kevin, where were you when the Angels won the 2002 World Series?
I need to backtrack a little bit, because I'm talking about Game 6. The story about Game 6. So as of Angelo, I wasn't really following baseball as much in that time period. Probably because I was wrestling in the early 2000s. But literally, as Game 6 is going on at Angel Stadium, I was at Arrowhead Pond is why I still call it this day. Now it's called Honda Center. And I was watching Devo because they're playing at this skating event called Tony Hawk's Boom Boom Jam. It was like BMXers, skaters, and I'm like, I want to go see Devo. And then meanwhile, you go out to the aisleway and there's like 100 people around the TV watching the comeback. And I'm like, oh wow, they're actually going to win this game. And then after Game 6, it was over. There was no way I didn't think the Giants were going to come back and win that game.
Well, I always give Kevin a hard time that he
Oh,
went to a concert during their best year. So let me go through my introduction real quick. My name is Michael Mondragon. I started Beer Baseball Blog, and I paired up with Kevin. We go to baseball games and drink craft beer. Angelo's been a big fan of baseball. We'd always see him at Angel games. We definitely knew that we had to do something one day. We're doing it today. I've been a baseball fan since 1979, I'll say, probably earlier. But my team affiliation is the Cardinals. I'm sure a lot of people just tuned out right now, being in LA. But my grandparents were from St. Louis, and I grew up in Phoenix, so I didn't have a team. Although I listened to Vince Scully on Dodgers radio all the time. We could always get those games because that was the closest thing we could get. So I'm a huge Vince Scully fan. He's my favorite Dodger. My pro wrestling connection, as you can see, I was Disco Machine from 1998 to 2010. So I wrestled in my 40s, amazingly enough. Started late. And I started Pro Wrestling Guerrilla with 5 other guys. And it's still going today. It's one of the largest independent promotions. I've wrestled guys in WWE around the world. Wrestling gave me a lot, but it also gave me 2 good friends that I could live a lifetime and go see beer and baseball with.
Are you talking about those
Angelo
2
and
friends
Kevin.
in the photo with you?
Sorry?
That Masked Man and
That is
Kevin?
that is Excalibur, who is now in AEW, we used to do the commentary for PWG, and that is Kevin Owens, formerly Kevin Steen, or probably currently Kevin Steen.
That's a pretty old photo. Wow.
It is. That's the SBS2, the very short-lived SBS2.
What was that, 2005-ish?
2000, yeah, that's about right. All right, so that was a very long introduction. Thank you. We'll probably make it shorter in the future, but I was really glad to hear those stories from you guys. Thanks a lot for that. So my question to Kevin, what are you drinking?
All right, well, yesterday I walked down the street to an unsung brewery, and this is one of their new IPAs called Shatter Spike. I'm trying to support local business during all this. And luckily, many of these businesses are trying to stay open because, these are people's way of living. And if you ever get a chance to try Unsung, they're in downtown Anaheim. It's about a mile from where I am, but all you do is the corner of Santa Ana Street and gosh, I'm on brain, Anaheim Boulevard, and it's across the street from the Anaheim Packing House. It's a building called Make. They make great beer, and I'm sorry you get the best look at this, but they do beautiful artwork on all their cans, and everything is more like comic book theme for their beers.
That's their gimmick, and when you go in there, they have a huge comic book theme, and it's really great. And we've gone there many times, and there's a lot of breweries around your area right now, and so but you still go to Unsung a majority of the time.
That's the closest walking distance. There's a Modern Times actually that's supposed to be opening soon. That's about another block away from there, but that place, I don't know what's happening, because that was supposed to open a while ago, and they're open for pickups, but that's about it, unfortunately. They've been working on that for like, I believe 2 years or so to get that place open.
Awesome. So Angelo, what are you drinking?
So today I'm drinking a Figueroa Mountain Brewing Company 101 Blonde Ale. So Figueroa Mountain Brewing Company is located in, they have a tap room in Westlake Village, California. Came across this during my most recent grocery trip to Whole Foods. And it looked crisp and refreshing. So I decided to give it a try, and so far so good. ABV is 4.8% with an IBU of 16 on this one. So a little bit lighter for those of you that like a lighter ale or a lager. But yeah, so definitely once this quarantine and stay-at-home order is lifted, and once they're open back up, I'd love to head down to Westlake Village and visit their tap room and see what other stuff they have on tap.
Nice. And I am drinking a blonde ale from Strand Brewing Company in Torrance, California. I guess it would be most comparable to, it tastes like Budweiser, which is great to me. But I love that a craft brewery, if someone were to ask me like, oh, I only like the macro beers, like I like Budweiser, I would have them try this. This is really outstanding. 4% alcohol, very low on IBU. I'm not quite sure of what it is. For those of you who don't know, the ABV is the alcohol percentage, and then the IBU is the bitterness. So if it has a high IBU, it's going to taste more bitter. A lot of your IPAs, like double or triple IPAs, would be higher in IBU, possibly over 100. But we're going to try and educate everyone about beer. What do you want to say, Kevin?
Well, I guess I got the strong one, because this one, I don't see an IBU on this, but this is 7.2. So I you can see I like my IPA. So
yeah, and sometimes they don't list them. Sometimes they'll be not available. So
I was looking while you guys were talking. I don't see it on the can unless I'm missing it.
Yeah,
it tastes like it's a pretty good amount for the IBU. And
yeah, we use the app called Untapped. It was TAPPD.
Yeah.
So we can actually look. We usually check stuff in and look stuff up.
I'm on it.
So we know.
Research analyst.
Awesome. Yes, exactly. All right. So we're going to go to some baseball news, and this is a baseball related item that is a current event. This one is the 2020 Major League Baseball season has been delayed by coronavirus pandemic, but the league could have a plan to restart the year by May 31st, which is pretty interesting. This is according to Bleacher Report and Jeff Passan from ESPN. I know how I feel about this, so I'll probably go last. I'll just say really quickly, I've been quarantined in my house. I haven't gone further than, like a block in like 40 days. I've seen like in, Taiwan, they're already playing games. Is it Taiwan that's playing games?
Yep.
Yes.
So, what do you think about this? And from what I saw, I did this last night, and even today they're talking about really expediting this. What do you think, Angelo? What do you think about this?
Yeah. So, I'm missing baseball just like anyone else. I know, a couple weeks ago or a week and a half ago, we were all kind of talking about, hey, we would have been at opening day, on this week. And I think the world is kind of, there's definitely a hole and a desire for live sports to return, right? And you kind of see that every time you turn on, ESPN or Fox Sports, they're either replaying something old or broadcasting e-gaming. So they're trying to find ways to fill gaps. So I understand that everyone's missing it, and we're all missing it too. But I think for the MLB, the safety of the players and the staffs on the team has to be first and foremost before they make a final decision. And I know I think the most laid out plan, or the most detail that we've seen to a potential plan, is to sequester everyone in Arizona, start the season in Arizona. They'd be playing in empty stadiums throughout the state, and they'll be spread apart in the stands. The teams would be to create social distancing. But MLB, I understand from a business standpoint why they want to get back out on the field as soon as possible. But again, I'm missing it just as much as anyone. But they have to put the players' safety and health first and foremost, and it's not just the players, but the players' families and what that potential could be with how quickly coronavirus can spread. But May 31st, to me, my personal opinion, seems to be a little bit too soon, especially when we're seeing all these rumors about theme parks and stuff not even opening till 2021 again, with the OC Fair just being canceled for the first time since World War II, and that usually takes place in July or August. So whatever decision they make, I really hope that they keep the players' safety and health first and foremost. But I certainly believe that May 31st is far too soon, even if they're playing in empty stadiums.
What do you think, Kevin?
Gosh, I mean, I don't think we're going to create any controversy here. I mean, and the thing also is, Arizona is not where I'd be wanting to play baseball after May 31st. If that's where they're going to go, that's dangerous for the players. I mean, it's going to be 100 degrees by 10 a.m. and you're going to sequester all these people away from their families. At least in a regular season, they're with their family half the time. In this situation, who knows when they're going to see their family? I mean, I don't know if these players are going to want to risk bringing their family to a spot in Arizona or Florida. Players' safety have to come first. There's still the unknown and variables in all this.
That's an interesting point, because, and I think that it's going to be, I would imagine there'd be night games. So it's like, that's the way they do it, kind of like in Arizona.
It'll be like 100 degrees.
Yeah. It's definitely a variable. I mean, I've heard of Florida as well. They were going to kind of split it up, and I remember when spring training happened, a lot of the players' families were really super concerned about, like, if they were going to go back to spring training, that they would have to leave their families during that time. But I'm sure now, with about a month and a half removed from that, I'm sure they're ready to get away. I'm joking, of course,
right.
But I think we all are. We're all getting impatient. But
here's another thing that just occurred to me. You expect people to execute social distancing when players can play in an empty stadium. You're not going to tell me there's going to be all these people who are going to try to go down to the stadium regardless whether there's games or whether they're going to be letting or not. People
That's
are
a good point.
Protesting, saying that about not being able to go out. How do you think they're going to feel if they can't go watch these games in person? You might have a lot of people just showing up outside these games.
Yeah, totally. I never even thought about that. So it's super complicated. I definitely think it's premature, but I understand why they're having to kind of lay it out. If it could happen, they should definitely do it. Should it happen? I love baseball. I honestly, I mean, I've said this from the beginning. I wouldn't be surprised if this season didn't happen. And they started over 2020, which would screw up everything as far as player time, minor league players. College players lose a year of eligibility potentially. Like, they don't get that year back. So,
that worth someone's life?
But you're absolutely right. And I think that's what we have to think about. And that the fact that it may come back, it's like, so encouraging this. I know that the NFL wants to play. I know that the NBA, just ended a season, hockey as well. So, we all want this to come back.
During the summer, things are going to possibly change because it's going to be a warmer climate. I mean, we all live in Southern California. It's already, 85, 90 degrees, and pretty soon the rest of the country is going to get a lot warmer too. And, that's going to cause, at the least, people getting even craving more. Come on, it's warmer weather. It's going to kill the virus. We're good. You know? We'll see.
The trouble is, I mean, the mentality is that it's going to come back next fall. And that in itself is like the fact that we're in this for the long haul. So it's like doing anything premature seems ridiculous. But hey, I don't know.
I mean, I just more worry about the minor league system more than the major league system. I mean, it's gonna stink for those people for the average person who works at a stadium. But if you look at the minor league level, I mean, the only money they're going to be making right now is off merchandise sales. And not every team has a good gimmick. I hate to say the word gimmick, but good logo and things that they're able to sell and make money off of. There's some, but not that many.
Was Stockton on that list, Angelo, of contraction
as a list been updated? Because on that original list, the only team was Lancaster from the California League.
Yeah, no, not that I'm aware of. And to Kevin's point, I mean, you talk about the impact that COVID-19 has had on small businesses, and you kind of have to look at minor league franchises as really what they are small businesses, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
If you subtract the major league affiliation with the minor league club, they're a small business. And to your point, Kevin, if they can't generate revenue with ticket sales or through advertising with broadcast rights, the only thing they have going for them is merchandise sales. And there's obviously we know who the Rocket City Trash Pandas are, right? But 75% of America doesn't, right? Yep. So that's me mentioning the Stockton Ports could be people's first exposure to even knowing who the Stockton Ports are, right? So unless there's something generating merchandise sales or a gimmick, as you mentioned, I mean these clubs are struggling, and they're going to be struggling to kind of recover from something of this impact. So I mean that's a really great bring up, Kevin, because that's kind of something that we don't really think of as from fans. Is minor league clubs they're a small business, just like your mom and pop brewery up the street.
And you can even go one level below that, because I mean, I don't know if these major league teams are going to be supporting minor league teams, but then you go, I mean, there's got to be like 100 independent teams that run during the summer all throughout.
College teams, college league,
America, but Canada as well. And I mean, how much money could they possibly bring it in? I mean, if you are subscribed to Beer Baseball Blog on YouTube, you could see Michael went to see the Chicago Dogs and the Milwaukee Milkmen. Like, I never even heard of these teams until he brought it up. And if I don't know about it, the vast majority of people aren't going to know about that.
And I have a video from the Madison Mallards, which is a Northwoods League. So it's a college league. So all the college leagues are now out. So that's all like exposure and more playing time for these guys. These minor league teams are already on the block, and now they lost the season, and they're a small business in a small city. So like when I went to Clinton to see the Clinton Lumber Kings, going to Quad City River Bandits, they rely on this income every year because there is nothing there. And so like anything like this, is really great for them. So great discussion. We'll definitely come back with this. I'm really glad that we had a lot of good opinions on that. Thanks. All right. So now we're going to get to some fun. Hall of Fame baseball cards in Arcadia, California is a place that I have gotten, a lot of great camaraderie. Card Shop Eric, Card Shop Matt, Yama, all the people there that do great things. And they do card breaks. If you go to hofbc.com, you can buy their products. They also have a YouTube channel that they do breaks during this time. They've been doing really well. But we have it's Topps 2020 baseball series 1 and a 2020 opening day from Topps. And what we're going to do is we're going to play Pack Wars. And everybody has some packs of all these cards. All right, so we're gonna play this game, and here are the rules. So we're gonna start out with opening day. All right, we're all gonna grab one pack, and what we're gonna do is this: we're gonna open the pack, and there are relic cards. There's autograph cards in here. You may or may not get them. If you get a relic card, you can actually choose the person that you want to eliminate. If you get an autograph card, you automatically eliminate both players. But after all packs are opened, the highest number card within the ones that we opened, so there's 7 cards in here, within the 21, whoever has the highest card wins that round. All right, so let's do this. Let's all open up our cards, and I'm going to let Angelo go first.
All right. So let's see here.
And hold it up to the screen like that, and
Yep.
when you got it.
All right, so first one we got here, we got Joey Lucchesi from the Padres, pitcher. Okay, we got Eric Hosmer from the San Diego Padres. Is this a Padres team pack or what's going on here? Garrett Cole from the New York Yankees, brand new New York Yankee right there. Omar Narvaez from the Seattle Mariners. Buster Posey, San Francisco Giants. Elvis Andrews, Texas Rangers. And opening day, Milwaukee Brewers versus St. Louis Cardinals from March 28th, 2019.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Cardinals
And
mentioned,
I
so
just
we got
finished
to
mine.
drink.
I got to open up one.
Yeah, and whenever you get a brewer, you drink.
Shoot. I'm going for the double IPA I was told to get. Uh-oh.
All
I'm going to
right.
be lost by the end of this.
All right, Kevin, you're up.
Oh, no. And I only have my beer open. All right. Beer can wait. All right. Let's see here. All right. First up from the Boston Red Sox. The Eduardo Rodriguez. Oh, here we go. Ronald Acuna Jr.
Oh, nice one.
Put that off the side. Let's see. Looks like I got a Braves pack. Dansby Swanson. Oh, thank you. I can see it. Let's see here. From the Cincinnati Reds, Luis Castillo. Oh, uh-oh. Luis Castillo just fell over. All right. We have Oscar Mercado by Mercado.
Mercado.
Let's
Simone.
see. Oh, I got another. Here's another winner. Lucas Giolito. And my team will be the Toronto Blue Jays opening day.
Right on. All right. So now I go. And sorry about not getting the screen up sooner. I was trying to figure that out.
Hey, I'm trying to figure this out too.
Jorge Solar from the Royals.
All right.
Mike Matheny, the manager of the Royals this year.
Former Stockton Port.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Aroldis Chapman, New York Yankees. John Lester. Wilson Contreras, Chicago Cubs. Michael Conforto, New York Mets.
New York Mets. Los Mets.
Walker Buehler, Dodgers. And Bryce Harper, Philadelphia Phillies. Now we take all of our cards and we look at them to see what your high card is on the back. My high card is 172. My Walker Buehler, 172.
Mine is Buster Posey at 144. So you got me.
All right.
You got me too. My highest is Giolito 141.
Right on. Okay. Did I just win the first round of Pack Wars?
This is rigged. This is rigged.
Totally rigged.
All work, brother.
I demand
Totally
a
He
rigged.
had the highest card. Someone needs to see is that the highest card in that set. You know, he had it off to the side and hiding
That's
it out.
true.
Are
Yeah.
these worked packs? These packs are worked. Gimmick.
We
All
need
right.
the shoot packs, brother.
All right. So okay. So now we're gonna move on to grab a Series 1 2020 from Topps.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And we'll let Kevin go first on this one.
Oh no, pressure's on now. All
The
right.
heat is
See, I'm going to show
on.
this a shoot because I'm going to open it in front of you because I didn't see him do that. All right, so you can see because you know. All right, go from the back so I can just see it along with you guys. Let's see here. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, I got Future Star here from the the Reds, Nick Senzel. Let's see. From the Detroit Tigers, Nico Goodrum. And Tony Gonsolin from the Dodgers. I never even heard of him.
Oh, really? Yeah.
That's the Dodgers. It's not like I'm paying that much attention to the Dodgers. Sorry, Dodger fans. Jason Kipnis from the Cleveland Indians. Let's see. Lurie Garcia from the Chicago White Sox. Nicky Lopez from the Kansas City Royals. From the world champion Washington Nationals, Sean Doolittle. Let's see here. We got, the hero, the real hero for the Washington Nationals. I'm not even going to say his name. Am I correct? Is that the man, Trent Grisham?
That's it. If he would have fielded that ball in right field, could have been a different.
And we have our people complaining now about 2019 Astros probably winning the World Series. Gosh, another freaking world champion, Kurt Suzuki.
That's it.
Oh, by the way, we forgot. We need to step back. I got a brewer. Trent Grisham. Drink.
That's right. That's right. We did. He's not a brewer anymore, actually.
Oh, they got rid of him? Why would they get rid of him?
I don't know.
Poor guy. That sucks.
He was actually really good, and that was the only blip on his year was
that's
playoffs.
my favorite card. I only want to say what it is, but take a look and you guys can laugh at me for this.
That's it. Team card. Los Angeles.
My team card is the Doyers.
So in this, also one of the things that we're looking for,
Yes.
it's a celebration of the decades.
All
so
right.
it's actually like a golden ticket. So
Okay.
Well,
I sure
so
haven't
that's
got
something
that yet.
we're looking for too. So
I
that
got a hell of a player right now, though.
all right.
And get your cups ready because not only got to get Trent Grisham in the same pack, but I got the guy who's the reason why Trent Grisham was in that game. Yale.
That's it. That's right.
Great.
You got heard of it that year. There you go. Another brewer. We drink on the Brewers. All right.
Always.
Is that it, Kevin?
Oh, God. No, I got two more. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I'll save the insert for last. I didn't get to see what that was. I saw something different. I got Albert Alzolay from the
Azalea.
Cubs.
I actually saw him pitch in Round Rock when I was there.
Oh,
He
wow.
pitched for Iowa. Yeah.
The Express. We got Gurriel from the
Yep.
Astros.
Yep.
And you want me to show you my insert now or you want to wait?
Go for it. Oh, Roger Clemens from is that the 84? Yeah,
85.
that's
I think it's 85.
85. Yeah, that's right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think I think that's a reprint, but it's still cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Go for it, Angelo.
I was like, ooh.
All right, so I'll do this on camera since Kevin was
Yeah,
Opposite the shoot, brother.
Yeah.
My gimmick.
he was doubting you.
all right. So I got Brad Hand
Yep.
from the Cleveland Indians. Diego Agrazal, or Dario Agrazal, sorry, from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Rafael Iglesias from the Cincinnati Reds. New Los Angeles Angel from Anaheim,
Yep.
but says Washington Nationals on the card.
Yep.
Anthony Rendon.
He'll get updated in the update series.
Eloy Jimenez from the Chicago White Sox. Isan Diaz from the Miami Marlins. Araldis Chapman, I think. Did someone pull Araldis in the last
He
pack?
did,
I did.
Michael
Yeah.
did from the last pack, the opening
From
day
the
one.
Yankees. Tim and Yolmer, Southside infielders celebrate win. Chicago versus Detroit White Sox gesture after winning first game in doubleheader. World Series highlight, Steven Strasburg dominating and win in game 2. Orlando Arcia from the Milwaukee Brewers,
Oh.
drink up.
Brewers.
That's it. Brewers.
I may not make it through this game.
Not with 7 point whatever.
I
Oh, no,
know.
I'm
ABV.
Exactly.
Wade Davis from the Colorado Rockies. Here's my celebration of the decade. Brendan McKay from the Tampa Bay Rays.
Oh, so they're all made 1985 style because I saw a 35th anniversary logo. Okay.
Yeah.
Like this is, I don't know if you
Yeah,
can see
I'm-
this, but this is kind of interesting. So his position, obviously he's a pitcher in the card,
Right.
but it says
Got
pitcher
it.
/ designated hitter.
Right.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Javier Baez from the Chicago Cubs. And lastly, Chase Anderson from none other than the Milwaukee
Oh,
Brewers.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Me, my liver.
That's your liver was gone long ago. We'll get you a new one.
Hey, I got a question. So are there one of those in every pack?
I'm not sure. So these are really eclectic. We'll find other stuff in there, like,
Okay.
so they're not consistent.
I was just curious because I'm like, ooh, this is fancy. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, they pulled out Brendan McCain.
Yeah. And sometimes they'll do what they call buyback
Or-
cards.
When I open up now. Yeah. Because I
Sometimes
opened a new beer in here. He can laugh at this. This is by Melvin. It's called 2x4. It's a double IPA. And I'm trying to see the percentage here. The lighting here is the best, but it's a 12-ounce can that is 9.9%.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know.
Going hard.
Like- Yeah, well, the guy told me, hey, this is a really good one. I'm like, okay, I'll try it.
So sometimes they'll do what are called buyback cards. So they'll actually get, like, for instance, if it's 2020, they'll get like a 1970 card and they'll do a buyback. So it'll be like kind of worn a little bit, but they'll put that stamp on there. And
Okay.
then
Okay.
so it'll be an original card, but they'll put the stamp on it, which is pretty cool sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. Here's my pack.
Hey, wait, hey.
Hey,
Let me see you
you
open
worked
that.
it.
Let me see you
You
open
worked
that.
it.
You already opened it.
This is the first pack I've ever opened my whole life. So
Obviously. You're working us, brother.
Yeah, exactly. My indie wrestling friends will get this. Bobby Bradley from
Hey.
National Express.
He was on
Teamed
the
with
first
Ram-
show I was ever involved with.
That's right.
My
With
first
Rob
ever
Van Dam.
show, we actually booked him on a show, and he wrestled Al Snow of WWE fame.
Andrew Haney, from Your Angels.
Yep.
AJ Puck from the Athletics. Sandy Alcantara. We actually saw him pitch in the Arizona Fall League. He was a Cardinal at that time.
Yep.
And he was traded for Marcel Ozuna, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Hyunjin Ryu, who's now on the Twins.
I thought the Blue Jays.
Oh, Blue Jays. Sorry. You're absolutely right. Mike Clevenger.
That's some senior research analysis.
I
if
know.
I've ever seen it.
See, he always corrects me. He always corrects me.
I was like, that didn't ring a bell. You know why I remember? Because I was like, names need to get a pitcher. I was hoping Rude would be the guy, and nope.
Billy Hamilton, former Red. I actually saw him play for the Braves when I went to Colorado last year. Andrew Chafin from the Diamondbacks. Another Jorge Soler. All
We're
right.
about to start trading cards.
That happens. Yeah. Third baseman for the Angels, Anthony Rendon.
Oh, is that the same one you got?
It was
No,
like-
it's a different card actually.
it's a World Series highlights card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So they have variations too. So they'll have
Yeah,
different
so
cards
he
as
had a
well.
highlight card with Strasburg earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, well, here's another Strasburg.
There you go.
Speaking of which, this is cool. Expos card, Vladimir
nice.
Guerrero
Vlad.
Sr.
Laddie.
Nice.
That's awesome.
And everybody drink. It's a Brandon Woodruff from the Brewers. And Blake Trainin from the Athletics. All right.
All right. Find your highest
So,
number. I already
High
got mine
card.
ready. I'll do my research. I did it while I was waiting for you guys.
All right. What do we got?
Let me tell you what mine was.
Go for it.
340.
Oh,
You got me. I got Dario Agrazal at 322.
I got a bunch in like the high 200s, but all of a sudden I'm like, oh, 340. I thought it was gonna be like 300 cards. Like, oh my gosh, 340. That's
my highest one is 312. So Kevin wins the pack war.
part 2. See, I'm like, do I need to hold it up to show? Oh wait, it's a shoot, brother. See.
There you
I'm not working you like that guy over there.
go. Thank you.
All right.
All
Come on,
right.
Angelo, we gotta get you in this.
Hey, so I got a 0.
That's okay. That's okay. So whenever we have a guest, we'll open a pack for them. And so we actually will have a guest
Yeah, I know, but
and
you
then
can
they'll
win
add
two-
it up.
you can round 3 and 4.
All right. So let me share my screen.
Internet connection is unstable, so hopefully I stay
That's
in
okay. We can hear you. We can hear you just fine. So I'm going to go back to my keynote.
good.
I'm going to
there. Yeah,
share.
I'm back now.
All right. So
All right.
that was Pack Wars. That was a lot of fun. And so we'll do that a lot more. I think a lot of people like seeing the new product, and eventually in the future, we will get other product as it comes out, because again, people love to see it and we play a fun game with it. We might, instead of doing high card, we might do like most RBIs. We might do most home runs, different things that we can think of.
If there's any math involved, no more 7 point whatever % for Kevin. Okay.
Exactly. Well, this is going to be the variable in this whole thing is keeping our mind fresh while it goes while the beer drinking goes on. Okay. So I will update our Pack War standings board accordingly in the next time we talk in episode 1. So, all right. Now that we have officially had enough beers, yes, we're going to do baseball trivia. So I have 2 questions for both of you, and I will wait for your answers and see if you guys know about America's pastime. Test your knowledge here. Okay, let's do it. So the first question to both of you is, and you can play at home. You will not get any points, and this is for 1 fake point. What was the last big league team to forfeit a game in Major League Baseball? A, the 1974 Indians. B, the 1977 Orioles. C, the 1979 White Sox. Or D, the 1995 Dodgers.
I think I got it.
Go for
I
it.
think I got it.
Go for it.
I think I got it.
All right.
When do you want our answers?
Right. Go, Kevin. What's your
Okay.
answer?
You know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Shoot, I was thinking it was C, the 79 White Sox, but when was the demolition disco record thing? I thought it had something to do with that, maybe.
I'm not going to give you a hint, but 1979 was disco demolition.
Okay.
But that is not a hint in any way. I will acknowledge.
That's why I was guessing it was the White Sox. I thought I thought the game got called, but shoot. Looks like I'm the loser. Well, I already said C, so I guess I'll have to commit to that.
Okay, so Kevin, you're going with C.
I already said, so I'll commit to it.
All right, Angelo.
On my theory, which isn't accurate, but yeah, it's a good effort.
So I will go with D, the 1995 Dodgers, and the only reason why is around 94 and 95 was probably 2 years that I really followed baseball pretty closely, and I vaguely remember watching Sports Center or something and them talking about, hey, this is something we haven't seen in a really long time, and it's the Dodgers. So I'll go with the D, the 1995 Dodgers.
Nodding. It sounds good.
All right. The answer is D, the 1995 Dodgers. Well done, Angelo. You are exactly right.
Job.
It was actually, they had given away baseballs, and there was some.
They were throwing them on the field. I do.
Questionable calls. I believe Raul Mondesi struck out, and people started throwing baseballs as a result of that. If I can go back, the 1974 Indians was 10-cent beer night. And the 77 Orioles, I looked it up. I didn't know this. Earl Weaver had actually pulled his team in a game in Toronto because they had this tarp over the bullpen. They had the bullpen down, I think either one of the lines or something like that. And he said it was dangerous. And he did not put his team on the field. So they called it a forfeit. So I thought that was really interesting. So great. Good on you, Angelo. A 1 fake point.
Is there a reason why you had was there a reason why you had the 79 White Sox on there then? I'm just wondering. It seems like you had a theory for
that was disco demolition, also a forfeit. Because
but the Dodgers did it after that. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I got the second to last forfeit game. Darn.
Question 2 to my esteemed baseball colleagues. Which of these players was not in the first class of Hall of Fame members? So there was a first class of inductees for the Hall of Fame. Was it A, Christy Mathewson, B, Cy Young, C, Ty Cobb, or D, Babe Ruth? Who was not in the first class?
I don't remember this. I can't believe I don't remember this instantly.
And you went to the Cooperstown.
I've been there
Hall of Fame.
twice.
Twice. Oh my God.
Twice.
Well, see, I've been 0. So
As a young, like 9-year-old kid, and then as a not so young, like 42-year-old kid that can drink alcohol. That's like the main difference, pretty much.
Young at heart. Young at heart.
All right, so just based on kind of process of elimination here, A seems like the most obvious answer based on name, value, notoriety. So I can see why that answer is inserted. I will go with C, Ty Cobb.
All right. Kevin, what do you go for?
Yeah, my
here?
whole time I was figuring it was either Christy or Cy Young the whole time. Cause I'm like, trying to remember all those videos right here in the first, like, I think those 7 people in the first class. Is that correct? Or 7 or 9? I'm sure you probably know this, right?
I think 6.
It was only 6. Okay. God, and who are the other 2?
Yeah.
Or there are 3, I should say. You know what? I'll go Christy Matheson, although my back would be Cy Young. But I'll go A.
All right. And the answer is Cy Young.
Ah,
So this was the second class in 1937, the first class being in 1936.
Right.
And this was news to me as well. So when I looked this up, I could not believe it. The fact that he was in the second class. So again, like, this is the fun of trivia. People love trivia, and you learn about baseball through all this.
I'm still like perplexed. Like,
Well, yeah, and
6 other people got picked ahead of him.
well, yeah, and you know, to Mike's point, this is really surprising to me. And when I was kind of going through the process of elimination with this question, I mean, there's an award named after this guy, and he wasn't in the first class. That's why, it's kind. But that's kind of why I kind of eliminated him from the
I'm trying to
process.
remember the initial group name.
Right.
I'm trying to remember the original 6. I'm like, all right, Bill's Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb and Christy Matheson.
Yeah.
Like, who are the other 3? Like, I'm trying to think, it's like a Roger Hornsby or someone like that. Are you looking it up, Mungo?
I'm
Michael?
looking at it. While you
Yeah,
talk. Go
I'm
ahead.
looking it up right now.
There's the bonus trivia. Name the other 3 guys. Like,
Ty
I
Cobb,
think Roger
Ty
Hornsby,
Cobb,
he probably was
Walter
retired, right?
Johnson, Christy
Oh, Walter Johnson, of
Mathewson,
course.
Honus Wagner, and Babe Ruth. 5.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
All right, so that awesome, and this is how you learn about baseball, and then I'm going to give you one to grow on, a baseball fact you might not have known. So these are going to be factoids. I actually have a book here. I have a lot of books at my disposal about baseball. This is the Baseball Maniacs Almanac. This is actually the 4th edition. There's actually a 5th edition, which I can't wait to get. So I look in these. I actually look for a lot of other things as well, like just crazy baseball facts. I have this one about Gary Carter, which is like insane, which I can't wait to share, but I haven't been able to find it, but I remember it in my head. But I will share that eventually on one of the episodes. But let's go with this one.
You tease. Oh,
These are the Major League Baseball
What?
Hall of Famers who have played for the Harlem Globetrotters. Kevin's mind is just now exploded. Ernie Banks.
now, no, wait a minute. Wait
What?
a minute.
Okay.
I have a question.
All right.
Were these one-offs? Because I could see, like, oh, the Harlem Globetrotters are coming to St. Louis. Lou Brock is going to be a special guest star that day. Do you happen to know?
So if you
Is there
look at
anything like
this, now the Satchel Paige picture, it says it's a poster that says it's in the National Guard Armory, but it says special added attraction Satchel Paige. So
Yeah, that's why I was asking. Like,
yeah, exactly. So if you log 1 minute with the Harlem Globetrotters, you've played with them, right?
Fergie's got the real jersey.
Fergie Jenkins got the jersey.
Yeah.
I could not find a Lou Brock
Yeah.
one. Satchel Paige had one, but I couldn't tell. Ernie Banks, he's working out with them, but he doesn't have a jersey on. But
Yeah.
Bob Gibson, look at that. Bob Gibson
Oh,
was
yeah.
actually a basketball star at the time. So, so I know, Kevin, you're actually a big fan of when the Harlem Globetrotters played on Gilligan's Island. You know,
I take that off Channel 13 KCLP at one point for those people who actually know TV in LA. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I imagine how horrible that must be if I watched it now, but it was fun as a kid.
So, I mean, that's the awesome things that you can find in here. And we will definitely share these special things.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. And yeah.
So real quick, since we're on the topic of Harlem Globetrotters, I'd be remiss if I didn't share a funny story. So our dear friend of the show, the late and great Johnny, and operated a company called Mach 1 Wrestling here in Orange County. And he had partnered with Santa Ana High School, who had the Harlem Globetrotters there for an exhibition. And John, being the entrepreneur that he was, wanted to try to get involved. So in that Harlem Globetrotters game, which was Harlem Globetrotters versus the staff of Santa Ana High School, a very young James Morgan, Dr. James Morgan, participated in that game, as well as current WWE producer and former NWA World's Heavyweight Champion Adam Pearce also participated in that game. And not only did Adam Pearce participate in that game, but he participated in that game in full gimmick, boots, elbow pads, knee pads,
Wow.
singlet, and all, full entrance with the robe and everything. And it was one of the funniest things I've ever witnessed and greatest things I've ever witnessed in my life. So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that. And let's drink to Johnny Ian.
And I want to thank you so much for bringing him up, because we're going to end on our good friend Johnny Ian. I wanted to dedicate this to him. We lost Johnny Ian way too early. He was a great Angels fan. We went to a lot of games with him, and he died in January. So serendipity, I can't believe you brought him up. I was going to surprise you with it, because John was a wrestling fan, but he was also a baseball fan. And he was also a basketball fan. That's when I saw the Harlem Globetrotters. I can't believe that I wasn't at that Harlem Globetrotters game, because that is my first time hearing of that. So let's drink up for the great Johnny Ian. You will be missed.
You already are missed. Great.
So that is it. That is what we had in our pilot episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Kevin, Angelo, thank you so much for joining me. Angelo, do you have anything that you want to plug, or anywhere that people can get in touch with you?
Yeah, so nothing to plug, but I've had an all episode to think about what you talked about with my fancy title for Beer Baseball Blog. So my official title is Junior Senior Research Analyst and co-vice field correspondent for Beer Baseball Blog.
Wow.
I'm not sure. Card. I have my card. You better take that down.
So my business card, the title is going to wrap from the front around to the back.
Yeah. I can believe he gave me both my titles, my business card. I have it handy somewhere, but.
Well,
this could be your future right here. You see that? Look at that.
That's Absolutely. That's it. That's when you know you've made it. You're actually somebody if you have one of those cards. Kevin, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Lock and Loll. I'll spell it out. LOKNLOLL. That's my handle on Instagram and Twitter. For us right now, it's every day I'm putting up something different, baseball related, that I'm wearing. I think I'm in like 34 days in a row wearing baseball stuff. I'm almost out. Today was my Hillsboro's Hop shirt. Great team out of Oregon. You know, you can take the train. If you're ever in Portland and baseball is going on during the summer, you can hop on a train down to Hillsboro, and there's a shuttle that'll take you from there straight to the stadium. Get some minor league baseball. Good times, good beer. And otherwise, I'd say just support your local brewery, no matter what it is. My place choice lately is a great place called Red Beard's Tap Room in Anaheim. I can't help but give them a plug. You can find them on Instagram at Red Beards Tap Room. They have 40 beers on draft, and if you have a growler, bring it in, they'll fill it for you. And they have like 3 coolers full of cans right now of all craft beer in case you want to get your beer fixed during this crazy time.
Yeah, and you turned me on to Red Beards, and they're phenomenal. I wish there was a season. We would have already been there like 100 times already. Yeah, support your local craft brewery. I read a statistic that a lot of the craft breweries are going to, a majority of them, almost half, are going to go away, which is heartbreaking to me, and especially anybody that worries about this economy. Just go support however you can, pay it forward. And definitely follow us on Twitter at Beer Baseball. If you look up Beer Baseball on Twitter, if you look it up on Facebook, Beer Baseball Blog, Instagram, our YouTube channel, please like and subscribe. Tell people about us. We're going to try to do this every week and try to, make the best of all of this. Thank you, Kevin, Lyon. Thank you, Angelo Trinidad. You've been tremendous. And we will see you, not at the ballpark, not at the brewery, but we will see you next week on Zoom. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.